What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, I would firstly like to apologize for taking a couple of days away to, not make YouTube videos and stuff of that nature. I did fall ill, unfortunately. Thankfully, it was minor. I got better after a couple of days and I'm ready to go and attack, the rest of the Summer League. Unfortunately, I did miss the game reaction against the Pistons because of this sickness. However, I will be talking about the Bulls and the Atlanta Hawks game, which ended in quite interesting fashion. If I do say so myself, we'll talk about it in this video. Before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, their game today, and your player of the game. And how did you enjoy the ending? It was an overtime game for the Bulls, and we actually did win this one, 103-99. Their overtime is a bit different, I would say, compared to the overtimes you would see in the NBA. And it's something that I like to see at the end of the day because it's Summer League, and also these games probably are quick and fast and they have to be one after the other and stuff of that nature. So they can't afford to go to double, triple, four overtimes in a Summer League game. You know, time's got to move on eventually and games have to move on eventually. So it was an interesting way to kind of end the game. But before we get to the end of the game, I kind of want to talk about what I liked and what I disliked about this game against the Hawks. We'll start off with the first thing. The way that we started, in my opinion, was quite impressive. And it's the small things, in my opinion, that allowed us to get to the big start that we ended up having. Like the defensive pressure. We were swarming on the defensive end. The team communication was up. We were really, really down and just, making sure we were going the right ways in terms of pick and rolls and stuff of that nature. We were sticking tight to the offensive player. And, of course, when you have a defensive commodity like that as a team, where sometimes things just gel so impressively and it's like you've been doing it for years, that is a team that's going to be hard to beat 9 out of 10 times. But with that being said, the Atlanta Hawks swooped in there and made this a game. We were up by, I think the most we were up by was about 20 points, maybe about 18 points in that game. And we looked dominant for the most part, but we allowed the Atlanta Hawks to come back, which will probably take us away to the biggest negative you could talk about this game. I feel like this has happened with the Pistons as well. I didn't get to watch the complete Pistons game, but one thing I noticed, we were up for the majority of the game, and then the fourth quarter beatdown happened where the Pistons took over and won the game. The Bulls couldn't move the ball, which is a key thing we could talk about in this game as well. It looked like there wasn't any gelling offensively, and the Pistons took over, and they ended up winning the game because of that. This almost happened again with Atlanta, and to be fair, Atlanta should have won this game. Their last play in this game with the alley-oop that was missed. He didn't go for the alley-oop, and then he airballed the layup. Look, if that was the NBA, you would be talking about a Bulls loss here today. We are thankful that it's the Summer League, and you got a young player that is trying to just really, really hard to make an impression, and I think he let the moment get to him because, again, 9 out of 10 times, the Bulls lose that game because of that specific play ran. The alley-oop was there, the alley-oop was thrown, but the alley-oop was not taken, and then the layup was missed as well. That very rarely happens, and again, you got to feel sorry for that player that took the shot. He's a young guy. I'm sure he'll learn from it in the future, but it's definitely something we took advantage of. And from there, in overtime, the Bulls kind of ran away with it. We were dominant in overtime. I think maybe they scored 3 points in overtime, the Atlanta Hawks. But their overtime was different, as I mentioned before. So, I believe it was the first to score 7 points wins the game, essentially. And the Bulls scored the 7 points. Atlanta only scored 3. But we looked pretty dominant in overtime. We got a couple of good stops. And, of course, the man of the hour, DJ Stewart, was the one that took over the game and really dominated for the Bulls. And he had a strong showing in general. By far, in my opinion, the player of the game. He had 37 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists with 11 from 19 from the field. And he had 8 3-pointers today. Now, the most impressive thing, to be fair, he's been one of the standouts, in my opinion, of the entire Summer League for the Bulls. Obviously, outside of guys like Mateusz Buzelis and Adama Sanogo, who I thought Adama Sanogo was quite impressive today himself. DJ Stewart is someone that I think is surprising a lot of people, and maybe he's earning his way into a training camp deal for the Bulls. I really believe that could be the case. But what I really liked about him today was how he was able to read the pick and roll. Now, Adama Sanogo, in my opinion, he must love playing with a guy like Adama Sanogo, because that screen is going to be a difficult one to get past. And then you can have pretty much the range of how to read that pick and roll. And I think it's always a very talented thing when a guard can read a pick and roll effectively and make you pay from it. And the 8 3-pointers were a big chunk of reading pick and rolls. And not to mention the final layup that he took in that game as well was reading the pick and rolls. Just a bunch of reading and analyzing the game to be able to get those shots off. It's quite impressive. Now, of course, he had 6 turnovers in the game, so it wasn't perfect, but he was the guy today, and he took over when we needed him to take over, and he ended up getting us the victory. So you have to be impressed with a moment like that and a player like that. And again, he's playing his way, in my opinion, to a training camp deal. Yes, we have a lot of guards, but of course we have a lot of places as well. Maybe we need one of those places to be fought for. Maybe that is the guard position. I'm not too sure, but I really did enjoy his game nonetheless. But again, speaking of someone that was impressive, we're talking about one side of that pick and roll. We need to talk about the other side of that pick and roll. I really loved Adama Sanogo's game today. He didn't get a double-double, but he had 17 points and 9 rebounds with 2 blocks. Really strong defensively, might I add, and 2 steals as well. And I'm pretty positive he was easily the best plus minus in the team. I'm looking at it right now, and he was plus 22 in the plus minus. That is pretty outstanding for a center to make an impact like that. And look, he's a guy that, in my opinion, I think he's probably one of the most improved players from last season to this season. And it's, again, it's defining his game. Now, he's always been a good rebounder. He's always been someone that can catch a rebound. He's always been someone that can play a little bit of defense. But I've been really impressed with how his finishing has improved, in my opinion. The smoothness to his game, how he can get the little rolls to the basket as well. How his shots don't cling off the rim. They actually roll into the basket, if you know what I mean. The soft touch, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And just how smooth his post game has truly become. This is exactly what I want to see from him. And I don't think he's had a disappointing game in the Summer League since it's begun. We're 4 games into it now. 2 losses, 2 wins on our Summer League. We're definitely not making that championship run or whatever the case may be. But I don't think he's had a disappointing game in this Summer League. He's been quite consistent the entire time. His finishing around the rim has been really, really nice. Obviously, we're not seeing him shoot many threes. He shot a couple threes in that last Summer League experience. I don't think he shot many this Summer League experience. His rebounding has been good. His defense has been good. His pick and roll play has been good. I'm going to say it now. I truly believe in my heart he deserves a main contract spot with this Bulls team. And I'm hoping the Bulls see it too. Because I don't want another situation where it's a Marcus Simonovic situation where he barely gets any game time because he's a 2-way contract player and therefore he's not going to be good enough to play for the Bulls or whatever the case may be. I truly think with his frame, his defensive capability, because that's one thing Marco didn't have. Marco was not a good defender. He was a very talented offensive center. He could shoot threes. He could shoot mid-ranges. He was good in the post. But he wasn't a good defender, and his physicality was not there. Sanogo has the physicality. Sanogo has the defensive capabilities. His offense is limited. But again, with his ability around the rim, that might not be the worst thing in the world if you just want a center, specifically defensive-minded, that can finish every now and then around the rim and could go and grab some rebounds. I think he's ready. I really think he's ready to be at least a bench player for the Bulls. I'm not going to sit here and scream to the rafters that he should be a starter or anything, but I think he should be a bench player for the Bulls, and I want to see that happen. I really, really do. Outside of that, Mateus Bazelas had 11 points today. I think he was quite disappointing, in all honesty. He started on the bench today as well. I'm not sure what that's all about because he's had quite impressive performances before this. I don't know what it was. He had 5 steals, though, so really good defensive display. But yeah. Again, Bazelas is going to be a guy, he needs to develop his shot. I think he's got a lot of his game figured out in terms of the defensive end. He's very athletic. You saw a mean dunk from him today. He's obviously had a couple of posters in the past. He's a very good decision maker, in my opinion, when it comes to passing. I think he could be a good playmaker in this league eventually. Not now, but eventually. I see the potential there. But he has to be able to knock down the shot. If he's going to go 4 from 20 every game, that's going to be a bit of an issue. Thankfully, we haven't seen that every single game. At the NBA, we're going to need to see improvements there. Now, my throat is killing me at the moment, and I really need to cough. So before I do that, I'm going to end this video here. I don't know why I needed to tell you that, but I did. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. I'll see you in the game reaction against the Lakers. Take care. and peace.